Code coverage is a software testing metric that measures the percentage of code that is executed by a set of test cases. It is a white box testing technique, meaning that the internal structure of the code is known to the tester. It helps you assess the effectiveness of your testing efforts by providing information about which parts of your code have been executed during testing and which parts have not. Code coverage is usually expressed as a percentage, indicating the proportion of your code that has been covered by your tests. Code coverage is beneficial for several reasons. It helps you identify untested or under-tested code paths which may contain bugs or vulnerabilities. By increasing code coverage, you can reduce the risk of shipping software with undiscovered issues. When a test fails, code coverage can help you quickly pinpoint the location of the problem in your code, making it easier to diagnose and fix issues. It serves as a form of documentation for your tests, making it clear which part of the code are intended to be covered by tests. Higher code coverage can provide greater confidence that your code is functioning as expected, especially when combined with other testing techniques like unit testing, integration testing, and acceptance testing. And this part is very important. Code coverage can help developers to identify and remove dead code, which is code that is never executed. It can also help developers to improve the readability and maintainability of their code. There are a number of different ways to perform code coverage. One common approach is to use a code coverage tool. Code coverage tools instrument the code under test and then collect data on which parts of the code are executed during testing. Another approach to code coverage is to use manual instrumentation. This involves manually adding code to the code under test to track which parts of the codes are executed. Once the code has been instrumented, the test cases can be executed and the code coverage data can be collected. The code coverage tool will then generate a report that shows which parts of the code were executed and which parts were not. Here are the general steps to perform code coverage. There are various code coverage tools available for different programming languages such as JaCoco for Java, Coverage.py for Python, Istanbul for JavaScript, and many more. Choose a tool that is compatible with your programming language and development environment. It's often a good practice to set coverage goals for your project, defining the minimum coverage percentage you want to achieve. This can help maintain a high level of code quality. You need to instrument your code, which means modifying it to collect coverage data. The coverage tool typically provides instructions on how to do this. This may involve adding special markers or flags to your code. Then develop a comprehensive set of tests, unit tests, that exercise various parts of your code base. These tests can include unit tests, integration tests, and system tests, depending on your project's requirements. Execute your test while the code coverage tool is active. The tool will monitor which parts of your code are executed during the test runs. After running your tests, the code coverage tool will generate a report that shows which lines, branches, functions, and statements have been covered by the tests and which have not. Finally, review the coverage report to identify areas of your code that need more testing and improve your test suite accordingly. While even 100% code coverage does not guarantee that your code is bug-free, or that all possible edge cases are covered, it does indicate which parts of your code has been executed by your tests. You should still focus on writing meaningful tests that encompass different scenario and logic paths in your code. Here are some tips to get the best out of code coverage. Focus on unit testing first. Unit test should cover all of the code in your application. So focusing on unit testing first will give you a good foundation for code coverage. Use different types of test cases. In addition to unit tests, you should also write integration tests, functional tests, and end-to-end tests. This will help you to ensure that all of the code in your application is being tested, including the interaction between different components. Set targets for code coverage. A good target for code coverage is 80 to 90%. However, the specific target you choose will depend on the needs of your project. Monitor your code coverage over time. As you add new code and write new tests, be sure to monitor your code coverage to ensure that it is not decreasing. Additionally, use code coverage reports to identify critical misses in testing. Don't just focus on the overall code coverage percentage. Instead, look for areas of code that are not being tested, especially critical code that is essential for the functionality of your application. Make code coverage part of your continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline. This will help you to ensure that your code coverage is always at an acceptable level before you deploy your application to higher environment. Use code coverage to improve the quality of your code. Code coverage can help you to identify and remove dead code, which is code that is never executed. It can also help you to improve the readability and maintainability of your code. Code coverage is a powerful tool that can help you to improve the quality of your software. By following the tips above, you can get started with code coverage and get the best out of it.